Welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today's pick a card reading is all about what messages do spirit animals have for you. And the inspiration came from me just purchasing this absolutely beautiful new deck called Spirit Animals, Journey into the Wild. It's by fellow Australian creators, which is wonderful, Relmi, Sasha and Sylvia Damiano. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Now I am hoping, I think everything will align for this, to have an interview with Sylvia from that group about the creation of this deck, and also another beautiful deck, Goddesses of the World Oracle deck, which I also purchased and have used in a different picker card. So hopefully if the stars will align for that, then when I publish this particular picker card, it'll be the day after or a couple of days after that interview. If for some reason the interview doesn't occur, I'm still obviously going to publish this because the deck is just so beautiful. And I thought you'd like to see it, and I'd like to bring you the spirit animal messages. But hopefully everything will work out, and that will be the timing of that, so that we can learn a bit about the making of this beautiful deck and the Goddesses of the World deck as well. So today, as I say, it's all about what spirit animals have in terms of messages for you. And what I asked Spirit for here was for each pile, the first card that I shuffled out will be one of the spirit animals that has a message. There's two other cards from the deck under here. I don't know what they are, just intuitively chosen. So we're going to get three spirit animals, see kind of what they represent and their messages, and get their messages then via tarot from them, but kind of give us a sense at the beginning about the type of topics and type of issues that the spirit animal team want to talk to you about. So you can, of course, go to more than one reading if you like. There could be messages across these readings for you. So you do you, as I always say. But the first animal for each pile is, so for pile 1 we have the crab, for pile 2 we have the kiwi bird, and for pile 3 we have the elk. And what you're going to find probably, depending upon what cards come here, this is a really large deck and it's got so many really unique animals in it, ones I haven't even heard of and so forth. It's just an amazing deck. So it'll be really interesting to see what other spirit animals come up in your reading. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps as always are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. So you come to the reading with crab, and you also have rhinoceros and swan turning up. And there's a pretty clear common message, I think, in this spirit team and what they are here to talk to you about, because they each in their own way talk about the way to deal with life's challenges, to be resilient, to be able to protect yourself, but move forward with grace and with mindfulness and with grounding and security. Because crab is a particular spirit animal or I guess crustacean that is, with its shell and so forth, is a lot about the kind of protection, moving carefully, moving laterally sometimes, finding your way through situations. It has a strong sort of sense of knowing its environment and being able to protect itself and be resilient and travel long distances if necessary. So there's a real sense here of, I think the people who've come to this reading, there's something big that you're trying to do. And it's going to require a combination of dexterity, grounding, because rhinoceros is all about grounding to the earth, moving forward with confidence, being resilient, seeing it through, that really kind of not brute strength, but really grounded, deep strength. The dexterity and mindfulness of the crab. And then the swan talks about finding your way gracefully and with sort of beauty and understanding of the ebbs and flows of life, but again with the resilience to travel in the way that you need to travel. I often think with anything, whether it's a swan, a duck or something like that, it looks very serene on the surface, but the feet are paddling quite rapidly beneath the surface. So this is almost like the appearance of grace and calm while you're dealing with some sort of challenge, and you'll be able to do that. This is the dexterity and mindfulness to understand your environment, and this is the strength and resilience to move through. So I think there's a pretty strong common message here. I think that if you've come to the right reading, things are going on in your life that require that, require a kind of grounded resilience, a dexterity and mindfulness, and a kind of appearance of grace. So we're going to get 3 cards from the tarot, and I'm using the Familiar Spirit Tarot, which combines people and animals. So I felt it was a good tarot for this, or the Familiar Way, not Familiar Spirit, the Familiar Way Tarot. And we're going to get 3 cards from each, for just a little bit more of a message from each of these animals. Then we're going to see what the combined energies bring us, and then we're going to see what might be hidden or, coming into view or being revealed with these spirit animals guiding you. So we'll start with the rhinoceros, just so that we're going from left to right. So what does rhinoceros particularly want to say to you? We have the King of... Oh no, see, it's not the King of Things. It's actually the Emperor. The Emperor reversed. The 5 of Wands. And the 2... the High Priestess reversed. Just getting used to this deck. I really like it, but I haven't used it a lot yet. So this actually makes a lot of sense to me. Like, the rhinoceros of the 3 are the one that's sort of almost to say not brute strength, but the needing for the resilience, the challenge. This is saying with the Emperor reversed, there is something about power. There's a power issue going on here. And there is some conflict with the 5 of Wands. Now, I always think the 5 of Wands is not really, really high level conflict. That kind of happens more with the 7, and sometimes if there's a difficulty around the 9 and the 10. So I don't think it's as big an issue as it may appear, but there will be some conflict, and probably around people who have authority or who want power in a situation. What the rhinoceros is saying is that the resilience of just grounding and moving forward brings a lot of this to the surface. With the High Priestess reverse, it's usually where a mystery or a secret has been brought to the surface. It actually looks a lot to me like there's a situation, and this could be personal, it could be career, it could be political, social, whatever, where there has been quite a lot hidden. There's, and this is like part of what you're doing is bringing to the surface the truth of something. It is going to disturb the powers that be. It is going to have some conflict, but you are grounded in the truth. You're grounded in actually bringing something to the surface. So it will be very interesting when we get to what is hidden and being revealed, because it might be the next layer of that as you move through with this sort of calm strength. That, of course, as an environment, if you're bringing truth out in an environment where there is maybe illegitimate power, or someone is wanting to be kind of boss without really having the right sort of ethics and so forth, or whatever this situation is, then you do need to be mindful of your own protection with the crab, and you do often need to move a bit laterally. So what does the crab want to say to you? The Knight of Wands reversed. The Ace of Wands. And the integration, this is, I think, the Page of Swords. I just want to double check, because the court cards are new to me as well in this deck. Glad I checked. That's actually the King, the King of Swords reversed. Okay, so yes, experience is the Knight. So the Knight of Wands, the Ace of Wands. Knight of Wands reversed. Crab is saying to you, slow down a bit. Don't rush. There's something a bit complex in this situation. With the King of Swords reversed, something's not what it appears. With the Ace of Wands, there is a new thing that you're trying to bring in, new energy. But there's something here with power, authority, something like that. And it's just saying that you've got a really strong inspiration, and you're really kind of like, you've got the truth, you're carrying the candle of truth, so to speak, but it is saying just slow down, be careful. This is the self-protective sort of energy around it. So then with the Swan, it's like obviously there's something that you need to be able to communicate or travel through, appearing to be sort of above it or gliding above the more tricky elements of this. So what does Swan want to say to you? The Four of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the Nine of Wands reverse. Yeah, there's a very consistent message, which is kind of what I would have expected, because it was so consistent with the spirit animals. Nine of Wands reverse says that there is something prickly and tricky in this environment. Keeping your counsel. And this is why the Swan is such a beautiful representation of what to do. It is to appear above the petty squabbles. It is not to show too much of your true cause here, because there is a lot of pushback that could occur. This is just to kind of try and set in place a foundation. It's sort of saying whatever the situation is, this is a long-term thing you've got to do. Right now, what you're doing is setting in place a foundation with grace and with dignity and with beauty compared to something that was not that. Not showing too much, following a spiritual path, but not showing too much because, as I say, there's likely to be some pushback. Taking your time with it, allowing the truth to emerge, and therefore if it emerges in the right sort of timing and with grace, it's less conflict, but there is something prickly in this situation. So whether this is in work or in a relationship, if it's in a relationship, I suspect it may be moving away from the relationship long term, because I don't feel like this looks like energy where whatever is causing the conflict is going to necessarily resolve. It looks more to me like you have to move past things, but you have to do it carefully because there's a flow-on effect with other people potentially. So let's just put down some cards for the combined energies in terms of the messages that they're bringing you. Death, so there's a choice and a change associated with this. The Five of Swords reversed, Temperance, and the Four of Swords reversed. Okay, so what this is saying is that you are bringing about a change and there's a choice and you need to take that choice. There's a transition associated with this. One relationship into another, one system into another, one belief structure into another. That needs to occur. And you need to have the resilience, like the resilience energy that was in all of them. It's saying this will need resilience. Don't give up. You are heading towards something that is more balanced, more graceful, more beautiful, more grounded. But the reality is you are going to have to speak up or come out from behind the scenes a bit. This is saying you don't have to do it entirely. Like the swan, as I say, a lot of this is about the appearance, the way that you articulate things. But there is sort of something that you need to say in this situation. So let's see what will further be revealed that's hidden at the moment as you progress through this. We have the introspection of thoughts, which I'm just going to double check, but I think that's the Queen. Yes, it is. So the Queen of Swords. We have reversed. We have, okay, an additional major arcana, safe, supported love. So that's beautiful. We have the Six of Cups. And we have the Ten of Wands reversed. Okay. One of the things that's going to come up with this that you need to be aware of is that there will be some pushback with what you do, and there might be an attempt to try and get you to criticize yourself. Like some of the feedback may make you think, am I wrong and everything, but this is saying no, that you're actually, this is really going back to the crab. This is protect yourself from negative thoughts, protect yourself from self-critique. You are the one who is moving towards the graceful and better outcome. There's something that you cared about since you were very young, or something that has to do with the values that you had from you were very young, or even just bringing back a kind of more safe, innocent environment in an environment that isn't that way. That is what you're doing. So don't second guess yourself too much. You will find once this is done, you can lay down the burden, but there is a burden you're taking through. And the area where you could, because it's a prickly environment, the area where you could be tripped up is if you start to blame yourself. You're heading in the right direction. If you stay resilient and grounded, self-protect and careful and lateral and flexible, and do everything with grace, you'll be fine. You're going to be safe in all of this. This is to bring about something that's better. So you're kind of on the side of the angels, but whatever this is, there might be people trying to suggest to you the opposite if that helps their cause. So be aware of it. Okay. So what I wanted to also look at, just to kind of like build this out, is a couple of other ways, kind of animal messages or animal spirits, but like in a little bit more of a different way. So there's a couple of decks I wanted to use for that. One is a deck called Zoologica, which is a kind of steampunk oracle that has, again, animals, but kind of almost merged with the industrial world. So there's a kind of a sense of some of the energy that's particularly human about this, but that also picks up the spirit animal energy. And then we're also going to look at mythical creatures as well. So firstly, just a couple of Zoologica messages and animals. We have the long-horned beetle, And we have, wow, the housefly. That's interesting. So these are both kind of insect energies, and it's interesting because this one is all about understanding the possibilities that are around and your antenna being ready for the possibilities, but knowing also that anything can happen. So I feel this is a kind of a connection, has a strong connection to the crab about understanding the environment, understanding what's happening, understanding that magic and great things can happen, but also anything can happen. So it's getting a sense of the environment. But with housefly over here, it's also telling us that part of what you need to be aware of, and it's kind of been throughout this whole reading, is there's some things that are false here or some things that are gossipy or wrong. So it talks about how, you can have this sort of buzzing, incessant sort of housefly, sort of like, playing with the truth, playing with issues, taking gossip, taking innuendo, taking other things out into the world. So I think there's a very big sense here about the spirit animals want you to be aware that there is definitely something that is a lack of truth or a lack of appropriate power or a lack of appropriate communication that you're dealing with as part of that. And that's kind of like the housefly that disturbs and bothers everything and can like fly out into the world. And they say, that a lie can travel the entire world, while the truth is still trying to put its pants on. So it's that kind of energy around it. So that's sort of one side of it. But if you use your antenna and you understand this, you probably can deal with the housefly before it gets out and gets spread out into the world, and you can anticipate that in some way. So that's interesting. It's telling us that there's a kind of an arguing faction against whatever you do, whether it's a person that's just about relationships and you've had a messy sort of situation with a friend, and a friend might want to get out and tell everybody about it before you can. There's just something in that sort of energy to be aware of in this. So let's also have a look at a mythical creature to give you some advice and support. Mermaid. Mercy, this universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are. So if anybody's trying to kind of get into your head also, that could be the other thing with the housefly, buzz, 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 getting into your head, making you think something, making you doubt something, making yourself critique yourself. Don't. You are moving with beauty and grace, very much connecting to the swan energy there. So there's definitely like a kind of a propaganda energy operating that you have to deal with and be aware of, and not let it get into your head, pile one, because you are heading in the right direction. You're doing the right thing. And by and large, your antenna is really, really good. But if you get irritated and triggered by this, you could start to question yourself. And that's about the only thing that could get under the shell of the crab. So it's just to be aware of that. Okay, so let's also just get you some spiritual advice with the Boho Spirit Oracle. Just a couple of kind of wild card energies or things to think about spiritually. Balance and harmony. Yeah, and this is where you are. I mean, you are what you're trying to do is bring balance, harmony, beauty, the grace of the swan. Just keep everything in balance. Because this is a bit of an unbalanced situation, but what you have to offer is more balanced. And dance like no one's watching. Okay. Enjoy your life too. Don't let this get in the way, and be true to yourself. Don't, as I say, worry about the impacts of other people. Like you need to sort of live into your spirit because it's heading in the right direction. There's just something, you're in a situation, a relationship or something like that more and more truth's going to come to the surface, and things will get better, but you've just got to kind of like see it through and believe in yourself, basically. Okay, let's get you some stars to guide your way as well, pile one. New moon, the seeding, plant what you desire. So yeah, this is like, what do you want now? I feel like this is like shifting from an old relationship that was not what it appeared to be, shifting from an old career situation that was not working, or an organisation that was not working in some way. Like a political or social cause, whatever it is, it's partly to be resilient enough to move through that and move away, but it's also important to know what you're moving towards. Sagittarius, freedom, openness, joy, all of those sort of energies, not to feel trapped in something. And Taurus, to be then able to create the good life that you want to create. And grounded, that really connects you back to the rhinoceros sort of energy there. So I think this is about saying that it's partly about moving away from something that's not what it should be, but it's also about determining what you want to move towards and what you want to make in its place. And just not letting, the kind of old regime or the old people get in your head. That's the main message that is that the spirit animals are wanting to bring you. So to finish off, I'm just going to go right into the Enchanted Forest for any other messages from the place of many spirit animals and the place that we may find many spirit animals in meditation or shamanic journeying. What's the final message for you, pile 1? You are complete. You are not broken. Nothing is wrong with you. Don't spend your life fixing problems. Dwell in the beauty of your being, like the swan. You are enough now and always. So there definitely is a risk. This is saying it over and over. There's a risk of other energies that have a different view trying to get into your head and make you feel lesser. It's like the buzzing of the fly. It's like some of these sort of things, the Emperor reversed and so forth, the Nine of Wands reversed. Don't let that get into your head. Don't doubt what you're doing. Move forward with resilience, strength and grace, and all will be fine. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Kiwi Bird. You've also got Monkey and Raven. It's a very interesting combination of spirit animals. I feel like this is a message, again, I think the message here is quite clear, and it was in at least one of the other readings that I've done in this series, or in this particular set of pick a card readings. I think this is all about building your intuition, your empathy, your psychic ability, your magic. That's what this is about. Because the Kiwi bird is a New Zealand bird. In its energy here, it's representing like looking to your own intuition, going within, trusting your instincts, trusting your intuition, all of that sort of thing, and developing your empathy. So it's kind of like a combination of knowing yourself within, but also being able to connect with others, particularly sort of spiritually, emotionally, all of those sort of things. So there's a kind of a delicacy and a really strong self-awareness energy. Monkey is here to up your curiosity about yourself and the world. So I think it's a kind of a bridge between the internal and the external aspects of the Kiwi bird. It's like to be curious about your own abilities, your own intuitions, but also curious about the world, and to approach the world with light and joy and happiness. And it becomes, I think, a protective energy around the raven. The raven is a wonderful bird. It is a bird about magic. It is a bird about sort of spirit messages and all of that kind of thing. It is often a symbol of a connection between, past the veil, and is sometimes called a psychopomp. And I'm trying to say that very clearly, because another time when I used the word psychopomp, it wasn't clear what I was saying. So that's it's an entity that connects us beyond the veil and all that kind of thing. So I feel as though this is sort of saying that this is a time, the raven is bringing in a time when your magical, intuitive, psychic power is going to grow. And it's saying, look at it within for both the accuracy of your intuition, but also what it helps you understand and empathize with others. And look at it with joy and lightness, because I often sort of say this, when people are developing significant sort of magical or spiritual power, there's a kind of moral ambiguity that comes with it. And that's about sort of how do you use this both for your highest good and for others, not just use it because, I can and I'm sort of flexing my sort of spiritual wings. It's sort of like, how do I use this in a way that is for everybody's highest good? So I feel like this is a time of great growth around your spiritual gifts, your spiritual abilities, and it's saying be joyful in it, be curious in it, be empathic in it, because this is something that you're meant to do. So we're going to use the Familiar Way Tarot, which is a tarot that combines humans with animals. I thought that was a good sort of tarot to use for this. And we're going to get 3 cards for each of the spirit animals to let them talk to you a little bit more. Then we're going to see what the combined message is. So firstly, what does Monkey want to say to you? Monkey wants you to be curious, playful, joyful, have fun, connect on that sort of level, experience and explore the world. So what does Monkey want you to do in terms of building your spiritual gifts? We have Judgment. I think understanding this is a calling for you. We have the King of Swords reverse, so that's interesting. And we have, an additional major arcana, the safe, supported love reverse. So I think Monkey wants you to understand you are now coming into an ability that is your destiny, that is your calling. But you're in an environment where you may find sometimes it may not be as safe as others to connect in with others. I think this is a little bit of a warning around, using your curiosity to work out where are things safe, supported, and of the highest good, and where aren't they. So I feel like you are. This is definitely the apocryphal journey where you start to become very psychic, very spiritual, and all that kind of thing. In how do you use that, and what temptations may be there, and also what other people may be there that could lead you astray into something that was not about the heart. So I think there's definitely be curious, be open, but also be mindful. Remember, the monkey can always jump up to the highest tree and move away when necessary. So if something doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel safe and supported, pay attention to that. Don't just consider, oh, well, look, I'll be able to sort it out. It's like, this is a long-term thing for you to do. And monkey wants you to stay safe while you're exploring your destiny, so to speak. What about the kiwi bird? The kiwi bird wants you to look internally and externally. Internally for intuition, externally for empathy. So what does the kiwi bird want to say to you? We have the King of Pentacles. We have the Four of Pentacles reversed. And we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Okay, all right. Yeah, this definitely is about sort of moving into a form of mastery around this. So this is saying that Kiwi Bird is saying materially, you have achieved this, and you're going to be able to achieve more. Part of what this is once you understand your intuition and you connect empathically for people, you create something that is going to be materially really good. And it's the key. It's the thing you've been ignoring. It's almost like it's saying you've been ignoring your gut instinct. I think some of your kind of spiritual power is probably the clairsenses that are very physical. So pay attention to your gut. Pay attention to how something tastes, that kind of thing. Because you might have been ignoring that before, but this is the way to really ground and use it. And it's saying with the Eight of Somatics, which is the Eight of Pentacles reversed, you've already mastered this. You've just got to realize it, and you've just got to claim it, really. But you might just have never thought it was anything. You might have you might be one of those people who up till now, you kind of had a gut instinct, and then you taught yourself out of it, and then later you thought, gee, I should have listened to my instincts. So I think Kiwi Bird's saying, listen to your instincts. And then with the Raven, and this is about the actual spiritual power itself, what does the Raven want to say to you? We have the Five of Wands reversed. We have the Three of Swords reversed. And we have the Chariot. Yeah. Look at the Chariot and Judgment. So like over here, Monkey saying this is your calling, Raven saying this is your destiny, and you move forward on it. And it's interesting that it's sort of like on birds that the Chariot is operating here and the Raven is there. Raven is saying that you may feel conflicted about this. You may feel it's painful to connect. It may even be for some of you, because of the sort of sense of the Raven connecting to beyond the veil, you might start to understand your power through a form of mediumship. So it could be like connecting to a past loved one where there's pain. But Raven is saying you will move away from the pain. You will move away from the conflict. This is what you're meant to do. So it's a very big tick from these spirit animals about use this energy and use it in a way that's empathic and caring. So let's see what the combined message is from them. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Emperor. We have the Hanged Man. And we have the Six of Wands reversed. Okay. What they're saying is you're almost there. Either you're not recognizing it or it hasn't been recognized from others yet, but you're almost there. Nine of Spirit is it's like Nine of Wands, almost over the finish line. So you can get there. And it doesn't even require the recognition of others. This is very much an internal process, but that would be more likely to happen once you really embrace this. It's saying that the one thing that might have held you back, because this is something you've mastered and you're meant to do something with it. What might have held you back a little bit or sort of slowed you down is that other people didn't recognize it in you. So it is go within and trust it. So, if you're sort of someone who's into spiritual stuff and you're in some spiritual group and the spiritual group's become a bit toxic and it's all about who's the most psychic, you're probably the most psychic in the group, but it may not be recognized precisely because you are. So I think it's sort of saying this needs to be a very internal process. You need not to worry. Don't slow yourself down just when you're about to go across the finish line and become sovereign to this. Don't slow yourself down by worrying about the recognition of others. That will sort itself out and you're on the right track. Okay, so what is hidden that might emerge through all of this. We have the Hierophant. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Five of Pentacles. And we have the Wheel. Okay. If you felt alone, and as I say, not recognized, that's shifting. The wheel is shifting because I think a new teacher or a new spiritual path is coming through with this. Like, it's not just that you're going to be aware of your abilities. Like, there's either a new teacher or a new spiritual path, and it's your soul family. It's what you're meant to do. You won't feel alone anymore. The wheel is turning on that. So if you are in a spiritual group that's a bit toxic, you'll find another one. If you have got to a particular level and you feel like you've got to be, you don't know what to do with it, a teacher is coming. Whatever is going on, this is going to really, really help you. So it's just believe in it and believe in yourself. Okay, so what I wanted to do was add to the kind of the theme of animals or kind of natural beings, and then also mythical beings. So we're going to start firstly with a deck called Zoologica, which has sort of all kinds of animals, insects, that kind of thing in it, in a steampunk environment. So it's sort of like combining that energy with the industrial world, with the material world. So we're going to get a couple of those for a bit more information for you. Then we're going to get you a mythological creature as well for its advice. So firstly, the stone crab and, wow, the butterfly. That fits with the sort of transformative energy. So these in combination, I think the stone crab talks about how a truth is rock solid, much as a crab can protect its truth, its innards and all that kind of thing with its shell, in this case a stone shell. This is a truth. This is saying that this truth is about you is kind of immutable to whatever feedback you've had before or lack of feedback, to whatever level you felt you had to hide any of this. This is the truth. Your ability in this area is the truth, and you're meant to now explore it. The butterfly is transformative. It also talks about how things can be remodeled and changed. So I think there's a secondary level energy here that is saying that this is meant to change and transform you, and change and transform your position and your connections. And this is why we've got this sort of energy as well. This is so that you can find your kind and your spirit team and your spirit soul family and all of those sort of things. But this is true. If there's been any doubt that you had about it, it's true. And the transformation now is to remodel your life to understand this ability that you have. So let's get you a mythological creature as well to support you and what its advice is. The phoenix, sacred space. Don't wait for someone to bring you flowers. Plant your own garden and decorate your own soul. Yes, of course, this is coming from you. Other people, their views, whether they've recognised it, is not the issue. And the phoenix arises from that. So I think it is saying that you have been in a situation where possibly, and particularly maybe Monkey is talking about that, there's been a lack of truth or a lack of recognition of who you were. But you can arise phoenix-like from this because it is an immutable truth who you are, and you can transform your environment once you actually claim that ability. So that's rather beautiful. So let's get you some stars to guide you along your way. 10th house. Yeah, there's something about this is you in the world, this is what the 10th house is. It's you and the powers in the world, being seen in the world. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and run a YouTube channel like this, for instance, but possibly you should. Certainly if you have these abilities and you want to do it, then this is a big tick of, yes, that's a good idea to do. But it doesn't have to be that, I think. But this is somehow meant to help you materially. This is why we had the King of Pentacles. This is why we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. You have mastered something that connects to your spiritual ability, and it will help inform who you are in the world. Wayne in Gibbous Moon says the calm after the storm. This is like if there has been pushback, this is, and I actually think that, again, like beyond, there's a couple of ways where I think this might be coming through. One is, as I say, through some sort of mediumship thing. So after the storm of a loss, you may find a mediumship ability spontaneously opens up in you to connect with that. If that's not the case, then I think there is maybe some issue around truth and power and so forth that you kind of confront, and your own inner knowing is a very good navigator, and that's what allows you to understand what's going on here. And we have opposition. Yeah, you're dealing with some sort of opposition. Now, part of it's an internal opposition about you doubting your ability. I think that this is a pretty strong message not to do that. But I also think there has been some opposition, something that has triggered this, but it's a good and positive trigger. It's like you need in your chart some oppositions, you need some squares, you need some quincunxes. If you don't do anything. So I think this is about like the balancing of opposites and the shifting of energies and the remodeling of things that the butterfly is talking about. Okay, so for you, the message is really about embracing your own spiritual occult power, knowledge, understanding, knowing that's your destiny, knowing that's who you are, particularly if you've found that people have not accepted that or believed that, or you've been in an environment where that sort of thing wasn't believed in. You don't even have to talk about it if that's the case, but you've got a kind of secret advantage once you realise that you've got this. Either way, you're meant to really take the mastery of this and materially bring it into being, be the phoenix arising. So just to finish up, I'm going to get a card from the Enchanted Forest, because if we're looking to find spirit animals, that's often a place where we would find them. So just for a final message for you, pile 2. You are safe. Be grateful for closed doors, obstacles and detours. So where there has been issues. Have faith that the divine mind will guide you past and around everything that doesn't serve you. So there's definitely is a sense here that, you weren't recognised, you weren't seen. Actually, I just realised I almost forgot some other cards. So we're just going to put them back in. It's a bit of spiritual advice as well with all of this. But no, that's your sort of final message, that you're safe. But I just realised that I forgot a couple of cards I wanted to put in around spirit messages for you. So let's just see what we get with that as well. Firstly, brainstorm. Okay, think about this. Go within. This is the going within. Like your brain, is kind of a receiver also psychically. And you can work out the ways of dealing with this and the ways to best use this. Mind mapping, that kind of thing. And best get to work. Yeah, don't just kind of sit and contemplate it. This is meant to create something for you. Very material. It is likely to be something you can use in work. I do think you could be one of those people who uses your sort of psychic ability as a navigator within a very conventional workplace, and other people don't even know you're doing it. They might think, how did you know this stuff? How did you always seem to be in the right place at the right time? This is about using this in a very material way, brainstorming and bringing into the intellect as well as into the intuition. But overall, as I say, you are safe. If there's been people pushing back or not recognising you, don't worry. The divine has recognised you. This is what you're meant to do, and you can move forward with confidence. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope that resonated for you. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with elk. You also have frog and moose. I'm really struck by the fact of the similarity in a way, and that sort of, I don't know enough about animals to know if they're really kind of brother and sister sort of species, but there certainly is a kind of like a physical similarity with this. And it's interesting because one in this is kind of the process, and one is the purpose. It's very interesting. And one is the catalyst. That's how these are operating. So with the frog is about change, about needing to metamorphosize, about going through change. I guess it's a bit similar to the butterfly. There are certain species, the frog sort of starts as a tadpole and ends up being a frog. So there is that sort of sense of a very fundamental change operating. So this is talking to you about a fundamental change. I think it's a change in your role, taking on your kind of destiny or your purpose in many ways, and the change that you need to do that, and how you navigate. Because then you have the elk. The elk is about trusting your intuition and your instincts. It's a very strong magical sort of energy, a very strong spiritual energy. When you are going through massive change, being able to have that kind of sense of the navigation of your instincts being really right on point, because the moose is about coming into your power and dignity and your sense of stewardship. So this is a message to people who are going through a change where they are taking on a role of some sort of responsibility or stewardship. It doesn't have to be necessarily in a workplace, but it could be. It could be becoming a manager, a leader, an executive. You could be starting your own business. But this could also be starting a family and having the stewardship for children. It could be taking on a political or social cause and being the person who has the strength and the purpose to take it forward. And this is saying this is a big shift for you. It would be like in any of those things. If it was in a workplace, it might be the first time you take on that kind of managerial role. If it's in a relationship, it might be you saying this is something that really matters on a level that hasn't mattered before, and I'm going to watch over this. That is what I'm going to do. If it's a political, social cause, maybe you've always been part of it, but you're now being asked to step up. This is definitely that sort of energy, and it's saying you can make the transformation. You have the right instincts to navigate it, but this is the role. This strength. This is what you're heading towards. This is what they want to talk to you about. So what we're going to do is we're going to get 3 tarot cards for them to each talk a little bit more to you. Then we're going to look at the combined message and some other stuff associated with it. I'm using the Familiar Way tarot because it has a combination of humans and animals, so I thought it was the ideal tarot to use. So for the frog's talking about the metamorphosis. I feel like this actually goes in order, actually. I think this is a sequence. I think we're starting right now with the metamorphosis. That's either happening to you now or it's coming up. Then you will be navigating with your instinct. Then you will be taking on the role. So what does the frog want to say to you at this moment of transformation, change, opportunity, growth, all of those sort of things? We have, oh wow, the Tower. Yeah, it's big. It's a big change. Wheel of Fortune reversed. And it may not be happening at a time that you would ideally prefer. Chariot reversed. You may think, no, slow down. But there's no slowing it down. So this is, when you are moving from being a tadpole to a frog, there's no slowing it down. When you are a caterpillar and going into the cocoon, there's no slowing it down. The other thing I think of is when you are giving birth, you can't go halfway through and go, actually, I think I'll stop now, thanks. There are certain changes that have to occur. There is no slowing it down, even though you might want to, even though it may feel completely taking you off the course that you thought you were on. Even if you think the timing is all wrong, Frog is saying you are going to be able to go through this metamorphosis. Just go with it. The big thing about the Tower, people worry about the Tower. I actually think it's a wonderful card by and large, as long as you kind of let go and go with the flow. The only time we have trouble with the Tower is where we're trying to resist it. And this is an irresistible change. This is talking about an irresistible change. That's either upon you now and you'll know what it is, or it's coming. You will be able to navigate this with your instincts and your intuition with the help of Elk. So let's see what Elk wants to say to you. We have the High Priestess reversed. We have the Knight of Wands reversed. And we have the Two of Wands reversed. Okay, so what Elk is saying is, look, yes, it's absolutely true. The change has to occur. There is no stopping the change. But Elk is going to help you by bringing things to the surface that you need to see. It won't be as mysterious once you kind of go with the flow and you go into your intuition. And Elk is also saying, I can slow it down a bit for you till you're ready to make the choice about the direction. So it's like the change has to occur and you have to look at what was hidden. But once you do that, I can actually help you navigate this in a way so that you can get the best outcome. So it's not like you are hostage to this change completely. Change has to occur how it occurs. And the timing, once you're in the change, you have a lot more control over. So then the moose, as I say, is kind of the outcome, what you're heading towards, your stewardship. What does the moose want to say to you? The Six of Swords. The Magician reversed. And the Four of Wands. Okay. So the moose is saying you can go forward calmly in this because this is what you're meant to do. But you are going to be dealing. This is interesting. It's come up as a bit of a thing across all of the readings. So some of you may be going to all the readings and they all kind of connect. But there's something in all of this, the moose says, where there is something where communication hasn't been right, or downright lies or propaganda or whatever. And you will be able to find your way through that. Very much, I think, with the Elk's help here, because in the end, you're meant to bring about a better community, a better outcome, a better set of relationships, whatever it is, a better family dynamic, whatever this is. But it's like, don't get sort of put off by the fact that there's sort of like propaganda or lies or manipulation or whatever. You're going to be able to establish something. You have the strength to do that. This change was necessary primarily because of this. This is where we see why. There is something inherently not honest or inherently badly communicated, out of whack, not the right use of skills, whatever it might be, about the situation. That's why the Tower had to fall. So you'll really truly understand by the end why it had to fall. You'll also have a clarity about what you want to do to move past that and why you're the person to do it. So let's see what the combined message is. We have the moon reversed. It's definitely something coming to the surface. 7 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the 2 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. So what this is saying, there's no choice. There's no choice. This is happening. The change is happening. But you will have the right guidance and you will have the right wisdom. And you are heading towards better growth. Your stewardship will bring in better growth. This has to come to the surface. Something is going to be seen. Something is going to be brought to the surface. Something is going to be known. And once that happens, the change has to occur. But if you go with that, rather than trying to stop it, you'll then be able to use your intuition to moderate the timing of the actual transformation itself and to move into the role successfully. But it's like when it's really started, that's when you're going to understand what's going on. You're going to understand why it had to happen, because something had to come to the surface. You know, it wasn't going to be able to maintain itself. So what may be hidden, you know, that will be revealed as you move towards your moose stewardship, I think, pile 3. The 5 of Cups reversed. The King of Wands reversed. The 2 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords reversed. Okay, there is a kind of a sense of reality. No longer being blind to something about somebody or something, which has been, you know, like not emotionally what it should have been. Yeah, maybe like not legitimate in terms of expression. This is around a relationship. You had to find out this about the relationship so you could find one better, because in the end you're meant to be the steward of the relationship, possibly of a family, that kind of thing. And where you were was not going to take you there. But you will work it out. You'll have the clarity and the understanding and the wisdom and the honesty to find your way through it. But there is sort of something that what was not working emotionally and almost in egos around the thing has to come to the surface. That's when it's going to become clear. So let's get you some other information. So I thought I'd go to another couple of decks that have creatures. One is a new deck I have called Zoologica, which has kind of animals and insects in it, and it's sort of done in a steampunk way. So it's kind of marrying natural with the industrial. And then there's also the Mythical Creatures deck that I use sometimes. So just to get some other advice for you. So firstly, from the steampunk themed deck, we get the anglerfish. Looks a bit fearsome, doesn't it? And the hermit crab. I think these two are showing, firstly, why you are well suited to dealing with this amount of change, and secondly, why others will be drawn to you at the end as the steward. Because the anglerfish is, as I say, it looks a bit fearsome, but it really is a capacity to move through the sort of familiar and the different and the strange and find the way through that. It talks about change and energies and environments that are so unusual, so unique, that there is no way of pretending they aren't. So I think it's just an energy about the amount of change that's going on. It's a significant, profound change, and it could be a bit shocking, but you have the capacity to find your way through that. Again, particularly when maybe you connect with elk and you use your intuition. There's a sort of like, it's almost like the antenna of the anglerfish there is sort of like navigating and putting the light out, this little lamp there to find the way through. But it is saying there's something about this that is really unexpected, really profound, but you will be able to find your way through. And then the hermit crab in this deck talks about feeling comfortable in your home, comfortable in your space, you know, drawing others to you. And there's a bit of that too there about finding the other people who are kind of a bit lost, feeling the change. It's almost like you sort of see a change before other people, but there are others like you and you will maybe find them and form a kind of coalition, particularly if it's something social or political. But over here, this is the sense of comfort and support and contentment. After the change, there is this sense with the Four of Wands, there's a very hermit crab sort of energy of you draw the people to you that are comfortable and content to be with you, that see the stewardship that you would do. So I think it's sort of saying this is the navigation tool, this is these two, this is where you're heading, which is actually a really nice outcome. So let's see a mythological creature as well to support you, pile 3. Horus, faith. Don't cry over the past, it's gone. Don't stress about the future, it hasn't arrived. Live now and in the present. So this is the navigation thing. And Hora is a very, very powerful energy of faith, of thought, of understanding. You may well, and wisdom, you may well be taking a kind of a more wise approach, and that might be what's drawing people to you. There's a lot of power in that energy for you, but it is about the future. You cannot stay where you are. There has to be a change. As I say, you can't stop moving from being a tadpole to being a frog. You can't stop being a caterpillar, moving into being a butterfly. This is inevitable, but this is to strengthen you. Okay, so let's also get you some spiritual advice from the Boho Spirit Oracle, like a couple of almost wild card energies to also be aware of. Tabula rasa, clean slate. It's being pretty clear, isn't it, Pile 3? Like, things are changing fundamentally. I would say this is about a relationship. It either so dramatically changes that it's almost like a new relationship, but it's a better one, or it is leaving patterns and old relationships behind to find the one that really is going to work. If this is something political, a major shift, a major revelation is coming. Something is going to shift things significantly, and you will know you have to start again. You will know that you have to find your way through. You will know that you're one of the people who can do that, and ultimately people will be drawn to you. But this is big. Whatever this is big. What else? Dance like no one's watching. That came up with one of the others as well too. Enjoy it. It is your time. As much as you can, enjoy transformation. But maybe once that's through, once the big shift has happened, enjoy the building of the new world and the new family or the new organization or whatever it might be, and take joy in it, because this is what you're here for. This is who you are. You're finally transforming into what you were always meant to be. Pile 3. And that's very, very important. So let's get you some stars to guide you as well. Fixed. Okay. So this could be a couple of things. You may be a fixed sign, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, or have that strong in your chart. If that's the case, this is going to be a little bit harder for you personally than it may be for other people, because fixed signs don't like to change. But so if you do have that strongly, just bear that in mind, that you have to also look after yourself in all of this. And it might be why the elk is saying once this has started, we're going to bring things to the surface to allow you to moderate the speed of this if it's a bit hard. Otherwise, it might be that you're moving against very fixed things that have to shift. So just being aware that energy is strongly there. We have the third quarter moon, the release, out with the old and in with the new. So it's going to happen anyway. Anything fixed is going to shift. But as I say, if that's more your personality, just be aware. I mean, you are the person, because in some ways it would make sense to me that people with strong fixed signs would be this, because although it might make the initial thing a very big disruption, it's also the sign that the moose would sort of sit with bringing in the new stewardship, because there's a sense of now we create something better and we make sure that lasts. And we have Mars, action, taking action, power, energy, leading things forward, having the energy to do that, all that kind of thing. And it connects to the tower in terms of tarot. So that's interesting. It's again, this is going to happen. Whatever it is, this is going to happen. So to complete this rather potentially overwhelming journey, sorry about that, Pile 3, but you are the person for it. We're just going to get a card from the Enchanted Forest. And that's because, if we're looking for spirit animals, that's one of the places we might go to do it. So I thought it was a good deck to get a final message to bring it all together for you. So for you, we have, oh, wow, you're not going to believe what animal we've got on this. But anyway, life is a gift. Life is unfolding for you. So seize the day and make the most of every chance to be true to yourself and live life to the fullest. It's time to cut out all the noise, which is partly dance and enjoy it. But this is about, life unfolding and you unfolding. But look at the animal that we've got. You must be very strongly connected, I'd say, to, sort of elks, stags, mooses, whatever. They're very strong spirit guides for you. Very strong. And I think that is a very strong pull to the intuition and to the navigational energy also that we had with the anglerfish. This is part of the reason why you're the person to do it. And if you can see this as a gift and an opportunity rather than everything falling apart, then you're going to be really successful with this. So it's a big change. It's a big job. Someone's got to do it. And pile 3, it's you. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.